Hello and welcome back. This is Steve Shade here with How to Start Your Own Drafting Business Facebook group. And what we're doing today is adding a roof to this Pueblo I've been working on. Now, if we take a look here real quick, what we're going to do with the roof. Oh, sorry, that's a Facebook notification. Ignore that. We have currently this existing garage and existing casita right here. And because this is the front of the house and the garage is butting up against the house here, we don't want water to come down into the garage. So what we're going to do is have the slope of this roof go back, a single slope all the way back. And because it's a Pueblo style home, it's going to have a flat roof. Now, flat roofs, the minimum pitch in my county is 1/4 of an inch per 12 inches. So as you go across or up and down, you're going to go down 1/4 of an inch as you every 12 inches you go up. Okay. Now that pitch is really flat though, and what happens is water tends to pool up every once in a while. So we try not to. I try to do up to 1/2 inch when possible. Okay, so we're going to look at that. So in order to know the full span here, we're going to start here and go all the way to the farthest tip. So we're going to start at the lowest tip to the tallest tip. And I'm going to use a square to help me get a good idea of how big this is. So I start at the bottom and press the V there at the corner of that wall and press V here at the corner of this wall. And now I'm going to grab my measurement tool here. I'll make sure I'm on roofing. Okay, I am. Okay, good. And I'm going to press V again, and I'm going to come all the way down to here. Press V again and zoom out a little bit. Here we go. And what do we got here? Okay, 51 feet, 6 inches, well, 7 inches. All right, so then at 1/2 an inch, I already did the math on this. 1/2 an inch, we're going to get about 25 3/4 inches rise, so about 2 feet. So that doesn't seem too awful, but what happens here, we got to add the total height of the house here. So what we're going to have here, we're going to have a 9-foot plate, then we're going to have 2 foot of duct space, so that's 11 feet, and then we're going to add an additional 2 feet of rise on this front end right here. So now we're looking at 13 feet. So there's going to be a sheer face wall 13 feet tall. And then most Pueblos have a little pony wall. So you need at least 1 foot of pony wall over here too. So we're talking probably 14 feet of wall up here. Now, if you think about it though, I already measured the casita, the height of the casita. Let's find that again. Bring it back, boom. Okay, so the casita is 14 feet 4 inches, and the garage is 19 feet, and it just so happens to be 4 inches. I'm not sure why it worked out that way. But the house, he wanted the house to be a different height than the casita and a different height than the garage, so probably somewhere in between, because it's a medium-sized building. So if we keep that in mind, and we think about that, that's going to be just fine. We can do a 1/2 inch and get away with it, because we're going to have at least 14 feet here. We should probably put a 2-inch pony wall, or 2-foot pony wall here, and that will bring us up to 15 feet, which will be bigger than this. Now, I would probably split the difference a little bit and go a little higher, maybe 16 feet. So we have 2 feet higher here than this one, and 3 feet lower than this one. And it's just for aesthetics, it's probably good not to be exactly between them, to have it just a little bit lower. That way it'll add more appeal. Also, if you put some crenellations or different decorative stuff on top of this, it'll get taller and make you an illusion that this is taller than it is. So for this particular roof, I'm going to stick with a 1/2 inch pitch. That's my favorite one to do if I can get away with it. Now traditionally though, this roof, if say this garage and this house were not separate buildings and were built at the same time, I would have made this garage lower, and I probably would have split this in half this way and had half the water go that way and half the water go this way. But in this case, the garage is already built and it's got its own roof system, and the water drains through the walls down in the ducts into a ducting or drainage pipes under the ground. Now, the house, I talked to the owner, he doesn't want to put the water through the walls, through roof drains. He'd rather have it overflow out off the roof. So we're going to do it that way. We're going to have it overflow out the back in different spots throughout. So what we're going to do here is put in the truss layout from here. Here we go. And we're going to start on, I'm going to start right here in the middle actually. And I'm going to create, well, maybe not. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this square and I'm going to make it my first truss. Yeah, well, maybe not. I think I keep going back and forth on this. All right, so what I'm going to do is start my first truss here. I'm going to start with the square tool, and I'm going to come over on this corner right here. I'll start right there. Now the trusses are going to be up on end, so they're going to be 2x4s or 2x6s, and you're going to have about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to come over 1.5 inches, and I'm all the way down. And this is important to get the measurements correct because it will look much better that way. Alright, so I believe this needs to be 1.5 inches, and this, I think that might be right. 33 and 3/4 inch. Now I should be able to measure that or look at that from the foundation. I have the line already measured. Let's see. Yep, 33 3/4, so that was good. So you take the foundation back off and find that truss. This is our first truss right here. Now it looks like my wall is off by 1/4 inch. Let's see. Yeah, looks like it is. Because my rectangle is perfectly square. Yep, it's supposed to be here. Okay, I'll deal with that later. I'll correct that later. But for now, let's just focus on the roof. Now, we got our first truss drawn in there. Let's make sure it's on the roof plan. Okay, good, it's on roofing. Now, we're going to do a 2 foot on center. So what that means is we're going to use the delta function right here, delta x, and I'm going to also use the copy function, if I can get to it. Can't get, there it is, a copy function, make a copy. So I'm going to make a copy, and then I have the wall highlighted, and I'm going to come over 2 feet, 24 inches. Alright, see that? And I'm going to do it again. And this is pretty easy here. You get these special tools, you can duplicate things really fast. Now eventually I'm going to have to change the size of that truss because I'm going to come across the living room. Now the great thing about using trusses is that the truss guys will engineer them to the size you need. Alright, now here on this section here, we want a truss to end right on top of this wall. So I'm actually going to move this over to match that. We're going to stop making a copy. I'm actually going to delete this one. I'm going to create a new one right here. Now this portion of the wall is only 10 feet. So then all the way down to there is 10 feet, and then the back here is 33 3/4. So if you do the math, that's 43 3/4. So we're going to tab over 1.5 inches, 43 3/4, not 13/16. There we go. Now you have an option here. You can keep going 2 foot on center from this one, or you can start going 2 foot from this one here. Either way is fine as long as you are consistent. So I'm going to do that one. Now, if you wanted to, you could have portions of this Pueblo style higher than other portions too. Ooh, I almost made a mistake. Look here. This is the porch. And the porch is going to be separately covered. So these two trusses need to get shorter. And if you come over here, you can press V to catch that edge. And then I need a truss. No, I don't need. Yeah, I do right here along this wall right here. So we're gonna back up. This one here needs to stay. So we're gonna put that up there. Now notice how it stays there because I clicked on that on the edge, that line. It's very handy because then I can do something like that to a marker to get you the right distance. Alright, so this one here is the last truss. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to copy it. And I'm going to bring it over to this wall, this edge. Yeah, it needs to be right there. Okay. So this is it right there. That just so happens to be where our big square was, our big rectangle. So that was nice that it marked it for us. Okay, there we go. Now I could come 2 feet from this one, or 2 feet from that one. And I think I'm going to look at, let's see. I'm going to look at what 2 feet from this one looks like. Oh, that's the big one. We need the little one. There we go. Yep. Okay. Copy. Delta X, 24 inches. There we go. Yeah, so now we got 24 inches from this edge is almost right between these two. So I don't need a second truss in there. That's good. All right, again, we're going to make this one smaller. Click off the make a copy function. Now, I've done this in the past many times. Accidentally left that make a copy button clicked. And what happens is you end up making a copy of something you didn't want to. And you have multiple items there. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Okay, now this one here we're going to take across the living room. Here we go. Make a copy again. Delta Y, nope, delta X, 24 inches. Now, just so you know, this X is the X-axis, and the Y is the Y-axis, in case you didn't know that already. Now, if I wanted to, I can highlight more than one. 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet. Make a copy. Go 8 feet over. Boom. It can get a lot faster that way. Here we go. Polyline. 4. And then one more just to see. 4. Okay, where did it end up? Oh wow, that's awesome. It ended up perfectly where it's supposed to be. And it's not long enough though, so we're going to click on it and make it bigger. And that doesn't happen very often where you get it just right. That's really cool. That worked out well. I wonder if it'll work out over here. Probably not. The little one, yep. Make a copy, back on. Delta X, 24 inches. Oh, really close. Really close. However, not close enough. So we need to come over, what is this? And 2 1/4 inches. So let's grab this bad boy. There we go. Oh, highlighted. 2.25. There we go. Okay, there you go. Now, it's kind of a shame to be honest. But the way the 4x8 sheets of plywood work out when they're putting it across here, if I don't put another truss right there, it's not going to line up right, and they're not going to have anything to nail the boards to. So we got to put a truss back there as well. So we're going to copy that and go back 5. So it's basically back-to-back trusses right there, just so that we have the right layout for the edge of this wall, the edge of that wall, and for the boards that go on top. Alright, so we're going to go back to our 2-foot on center. I'm going to grab this bad boy. And that's the one on the left, because that's the one that was 2 feet on center. Make sure we're on a copy, 24 inches. Now we might actually draw this one as a partial truss to save some money. It's not needed. Cut it back here. Let's see, right, should be right there. Did it work? Nope. Let's shrink it all the way to there. Funny. Let's try just creating one. Alright, 4. Here we go. That's right there. It doesn't have to be exact. Close is close enough. Especially when you zoom out, you can't even tell. Alright, so I think he can get away with a partial truss right there just to frame in that wall. And then we'll make sure this one here is 2 foot. No, I don't want the corner, I want the edge. There we go. One click, all you have to do. You don't have to hold it or drag it or nothing. Put it right there. Alright, now we can continue on our 2 foot on centers. Make a copy back on 24 inches. 24 inches. 24 inches. 24 inches. Less than 24 inches, but what can I say? Alright, this one here we're going to back off. I'm tempted just to cut it. Let's try that. That might be a fun way to do this. I'm going to modify object. No, first I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw a line right here. No, I think I can use the wall. Let's try that. Let's try using the... No. I need to use a different tool altogether. I need to use a split. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we're going to use the line right here. I'm going to create a line. And now I'm going to hide the exterior walls so they don't get in the way. Exterior walls, exterior walls. There we go. So what I'm going to try to do is split this rectangle into 2 parts. So let's try it. I haven't used this tool very often. Split, this is hold down the shift to get the cutting edge. This is not looking right. Oh, yeah, I don't think that's what I wanted it to do. Yeah, interesting. Okay. So we can get rid of that. Let's try that again. Modify split. And I'm going to press shift and click on that one. There we go. How did that work? It doesn't look like it worked. Yeah, there's got to be a way to cut this thing. I'm not used to trying these fancy cut tools. Oh well, I'm still learning too. Let's go back to the way I was going to do it. Go back, let me show me the walls. Thank you much. Alright, another way to do this is to make a copy of it. And what this will do is it will keep the original, but I'll modify the copy. Okay, so the copy gets shortened, but the original's still there. Now, I undo the copy function, Make sure I have the original one highlighted. And I'm going to come down here and grab the original one and go there. So now I got two rectangles, one short one, one long one. This is the 2 foot on center for this one. This one here I made specifically for this edge right here. Now what I need to do, honestly, is I need to call my roofing guy to see what he says about this. Can I put a partial truss right on the end just for the framing of that edge? Or do I have to continue it all the way across? Because of course, if you continue it all the way across, it's going to cost more. Alright, let's see. Get this copy function going. As a reminder, when the hourglass is going, it's auto-saving. So we'll just give it a minute to catch up. And then it'll get there. Okay, there we go. Copy's on. Delta 24 inches. Now, as you can tell, some of these structures get a little more complicated than others. But in general, this is pretty straightforward. Almost anybody can do this. Alright, this last one here, I'm going to eyeball it. Try to get it close. And then all of these at the same time, we can shrink to the right size. Good. Okay, looking good. Now I'm going to double check with this truss and this truss to see, there we go, if I can use partials or if I have to use full trusses. I'll make a note, call my contractor friend. Okay, so there we go. That's pretty much all you need to do for the roof plan. There's a couple labels that we're going to put on it. One of the labels will be the pitch. We also label the peak. So this is actually the peak over here, the highest point. And we're also going to draw in where any crickets would be. And a cricket is like it's a slanted area of the roof, but they put it over the top of the roof to try to direct water. So say if we had a drain right here over this window, or between these two windows, we would put a slanted portion right here in this corner to direct the water towards that, as it came down the roof, towards that drain. We might put a little triangle one here too and put another drain right there. So we might indicate where the crickets are. Okay, well that's it for today's video on how to do the roof plan for our Pueblo. Let's take a look. Well, let's see what it looks like on the paper space, just real quick. Okay, so this is an example of a pitched roof and the details that go on that, but I will have to change all these details to match. And you also sometimes will put attic access on there, depending. And sometimes you might draw or indicate where the air conditioner unit would be. So we're going to bring this down right about there. This is the viewport. And the viewport again is a picture of the model space. It's like a window. Alright, so we're going to shrink that down. Here we go. Perfect. Now I'm going to go back and change all these details at a later time. But this gives you a really good idea of what it will look like when we're done. Okay, you can't really tell, but I've come back after a few days. And I'm here again. And what I've done is I've called my general contractor friend and talked to him about the truss layout and those questions that we had about putting a truss at the end of the wall. So let's take a closer look at the model space, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about in case you've forgotten. All right, so here's a good example right here. The 2 foot on center stops before the edge of the wall. So we need something here on the edge of the wall to bring it up to the roof. So normally you put a truss there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and redo this because I confirmed with the contractor that they can build a partial truss that just goes to there. And then it'll just fill in the gap right there, and then we can continue our 2 foot on center ongoing. That way, when they're laying down the 4x8 sheets on top of this roof, they don't have to adjust for this weird spacing here. And in addition, it'll also save the extra cost of lumber for this truss going all the way across, because they don't need that. There's no need for that. So what we're going to do then is I'm going to take this truss right here, and I'm going to make sure I'm not in the copy mode. Come and zoom in and click on the edge, and I'm going to shrink it down to here. There we go. Now these ones then I need to make sure they're 2 foot on center then going on, and I'm not sure which way is going to be the easiest here. I think if I measure this distance, I can figure out how far to move all these other ones. I think that will be the easiest. So let's just get a quick measurement. Make sure we're on our roof plan. Yeah, okay. Alright, so what's the distance here? It needs to be 2 feet from corner to corner. So 10 inches. Well, that's nice. So I'll move this one over. Where's the delta X? Negative 10 inches. And okay, now we're 2 feet. Perfect. I'll grab this one next. Now I'm only going to grab this first couple individually, and then I'm going to grab the rest of these, as many as I can, that is, all at once. If you drag from left to right, or I'm sorry, right to left, this green box highlights everything it touches. So that really helps. So negative 10 inches, move all those over. Now I'm going to have to put a partial truss right here, it looks like. But as far as I know, all these are 2 foot on center until we get to here. And again, we have a problem. I'm just going to verify this is 10 inches. I think it is. Well, we'll see. Alright, yeah, it looks like it. 210, see. Okay, good. So then I'll grab these ones. Let's see. These ones. Move those over 10 inches. Then I'll grab these ones. And move those over 10 inches. And then let's double check the end here. Oh yeah, there's 2 here at the end. This one here can go over 10 inches. Beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to go through the whole thing, make sure I got it all set up here. Oh, that's ironic, isn't it? These don't line up. He actually, wow, off by 2 inches, or 1 2x4. Wow. And if he puts a 4x8 sheet starting on this side, so this is 2, this is 4. So I don't know if they're going to go 4x8 this way, or if they're going to go 4x8 this way. I think they go across this way, looking at it closer. So let's see. 4x8 sheet's going to be 1, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Just goes to show you how many sheets of ply they need for this. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So they might be able to get away with it if they because it's on that odd one right there. It won't be lined up straight. It'll be 1 2x4 off. Interesting. Well, I'm going to draw it the way it should be, and the contractor can then make a decision if he wants to switch this out or do it a different way. It's actually a little bit more than 1 2x4. See, just a tiny bit, like an inch. Okay, well, why this is important is because when they put these sheets down, they're going to know how to nail based off of measurements, and if they don't put this right here and they put it right here, they're gonna be upset because they're gonna be missing every nailing. They're gonna be nailing in this area, and the truss is gonna be over there, so they're gonna miss every time, and then that piece of wood's not even gonna be holding on to anything. All right, so that one goes all the way across to keep the 2 foot on center, and then there's a little one on the edge just to help them out there. Okay, all that's good then. This one we got the one on the edge already. This one we got the one on the edge already. Okay, and this one here we need to shrink and put one on the edge. So like we did earlier, we're going to copy this one so that we have a short one and a long one. And then I'll take the long one and shorten it up. Alright, so there's the short one. And take this long one and shorten it up too. Just like that. So now there are 2 of them. And then I'm going to slide this one across to here. There we go. So now that end has one. 2 foot on center of the rest. There's one on the edge there. Okay, cool. So there you have it. Well, I got this one here too. I forgot. Look at that. Alright, so we're going to take this one. Same thing. We're going to copy it. We're going to make the copy shorter. I like clicking on the edge like that, so it doesn't matter where my mouse is so much. That way I can be a little sloppier with my mouse work and still get the job done accurately. Rely on the tools you have, right? So if you're not careful and you grab this, it'll make up your tipping. Or if you grab the corner, you can make your square bigger than it's supposed to be. So lots of problems or issues with that. There we go. Okay, anything else I missed? I think I got it all. Great. Okay, well there you go. That's what we're going to do. Good to verify that stuff. It's important to make sure that you have it. I'm going to make this a little longer. That way they could put some bracing in here inside the wall. I'm going to go double check these ones too. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to need to be inside the building, so that way they can put some bracing between the trusses to make sure it stays up and stuff. So I'm going to do that one too. Alright, there's that one. I did this one. That one's right. This one. And what we should do here, what I'll probably end up doing, is putting some additional notes of the length of all these trusses that are different sizes, so that when the roofing guy's looking at it, he doesn't have to guess with a ruler and the scaling that I put on the measurement. That way he knows exactly, because I'll have it all marked out for him. So it's going to be kind of hard to make it not messy, but in this area here they're all the same, so I'll put one across, one measurement across there. And I probably will even create a little chart that shows labels. So I'll put a little label here, truss A or truss C or whatever, and then I'll have a chart. Truss C, 32 3/4. And then I'll come over here and have truss A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and label each area, and then create a little chart to show the distances. So he'll see it on the, oh my gosh, he'll see it on the plan, and then he'll also see it in the chart. So that makes the truss manufacturer's job really easier. And if I'm feeling really industrious, I may even come and do an elevation from the side, and make one truss that doesn't really exist, but the one that starts here and ends here, this long. And then I could take that one truss and make cross sections of, okay, well, there's this one, and then there's this cross section, and then there's this cross section, because they all have the same slope and they're all going to line up. And then it'll help him get an idea of, well, how tall does this truss need to be at this end, and how tall at this end, and to match up with how tall it is on this end, and then keep the slope going so I know to keep it the same height. So it should be at the same height when you cut a cross section here. All these trusses should be at the same height, and same here if you go right here, and the same over here. So then I can make sure that this one is the right height to match up with these ones, and then ends here at a certain height to match up with these ones. And the truss manufacturer could do all those calculations, I'm sure, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't hurt if I added some extra drawings for him just to help speed up the process and save him some effort. Because if he doesn't have my drawings and the electronic version, he won't have these fancy tools that do the digital measurements. So then he'll have to be putting in these measurements into his tools and doing it from there. Okay, well, thanks again for watching. In the next video, we're going to look at the mechanicals for this Pueblo. Hope to see you there. If you would like more information, please join my Facebook group called Starting a Drafting Business. Inside that group, I share tips and tricks on how to get your own drafting business started. I also have some tutorials like this one about how to use TurboCAD. So I look forward to seeing you in the group, and I'll catch you next time.